Well, welcome to Thought for the Day. Well, as I expect most of you know, back in December, I no longer had to just talk about COVID. I actually had it, and Helen, my wife, had it too. We were laid up quite badly for a week and a couple of weeks, and it dragged on. And just this week, I finally started to get some strength back. It's been really nice to be able to go for runs, maybe not quite as long as I would have been going for before, but go for a run maybe every other day, start to push the distance up, wake up in the morning and actually feel like getting up. It is very, very, very nice to start feeling better again. So thank you to all of you who've sent encouraging words, who've asked after us. We're really very grateful for all the care that you've offered, and all the practical care that was given to us while we were ill. But what I wanted to talk about today was not so much what had changed in my body, but what had changed in my thinking. You see, as I kind of got over COVID, even really that first day when I was finally out of isolation, allowed to leave the house for the first time, I felt differently on the inside. Rationally or not, I felt safer. I've faced this thing down. I've defeated it. I'm getting over it. And this week, as I started to get strength back, I think that feeling, that changed thinking, has got stronger. It's again quite a nice feeling in my mind. And then on Wednesday, there was a news report that they'd done some research on people who'd had COVID, and the research really confirmed what I guess intuitively we've been thinking, which is that if you've had COVID, you are protected. You are quite strongly protected from getting it again, and even in the fairly remote chance that you get it again, you're likely to get it again much less strongly, much less dangerously. And that effect lasts at least 5 months. It's not that it ends after 5 months, but 5 months was as long as they could run the study for. That's as long as it's been around. Enough people have been around to conduct the study. And so what they were saying was really, having had COVID is much the same as having had the vaccine. You are protected. You're protected from catching it. You're protected from catching it badly. And that's a great feeling. But then there was a little sting in the tail on this research. You are protected. You're not going to get it again so badly. Almost certainly. There is always a risk, but almost certainly you are protected. But you could get it mildly and still be a risk to others, still be at risk of passing it on to others. And it's thought that the same applies to the vaccine. The vaccine works in much the same way as having had it, by having a good dose of antibodies that resist it. I won't try and go any further into the medical science. I don't understand it in that much detail. And as I thought about that, I thought, well, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because what it means is I've now got to take all those same precautions. I've got to accept all the same restrictions on my life and what I can do. But no longer to protect myself, but to protect others. No longer for my own sake, but for the sake of others. Only when most other people are protected, can I now let my guard down. It's not about me anymore. It's about protecting others. And of course that rang bells with me, because that's what we're called to do as Christians, isn't it? Paul wrote to his friends in Corinth saying, nobody should seek their own good, but the good of others. Philippians 2, one of my favourite chapters. Just read to you. In humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but to the interests of others. Valuing others above myself. When I was at risk, when I was at risk of catching it myself, I could protect myself, stay away, lose those freedoms for my own sake. Now I've got to lose them for the sake of others. And where do I find the motivation to do that? And clearly it's the right thing to do, but where's the motivation to give up all that for the sake of other people? Well, surely isn't it in the one who gave up everything for our sake, for knowing that actually someone else did that for me, not in terms of COVID, but in a much deeper sense. Paul continues as he writes to his friends in Philippi. Have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in very nature God, didn't consider equality with God something to be used for his own advantage, but rather he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself even further by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. So if I'm going to live my life as someone who's had COVID, or you if you've had the vaccine, as we're going to live our lives much more protected ourselves, but still needing to protect others, we need to let that love take hold of us. I need to let that love take hold of me and turn me inside out. Turn me inside out from being just concerned about protecting number one to protecting other people. And I think if we do that, we're going to discover a new freedom. There is a freedom in not doing what I want, not doing this thing for my sake. Put up the ladder, Jack, I'm safe here. But doing it for the sake of others. And that actually is a much truer freedom. It's the freedom no longer to be preoccupied with protecting myself, but actually living, giving things up, giving up freedoms for the sake of others. Set free to do exactly the same as I was doing before, maybe set free to do it even more. Because now I know that it's not just about me, it's about other people. So if you've had the vaccine, as the effects of that take effect, or if you've had COVID yourselves and you've got that level of immunity, rejoice in the freedom it gives you. But rejoice in the freedom it gives you to live for others and to discover in a new way the love that Jesus showed for you. So may God bless you this weekend, and I'll see you again next week, or hopefully you'll be able to join us for worship on Sunday. God bless.